Previously on Three of Cups.
Why are jobs and workplaces the way that they are?
What was once one turned into three, reconnecting with our family, a safe space to
Why?
speak authentically. We raise our cups, unifying as three. We bring freedom in community, random thoughts and golden nugget treats.
Not just
Welcome
to discuss, oh my gosh, this sucks, 5 days a week, I feel like I'm killing myself, this is so stressful. Not that, I mean, we already know that, I mean, we hear that on a regular. Let's talk about something a little bit more rooted.
What was once one turned into three, reconnecting with our family.
Let's talk about the 3 to 5 days of training that feels like 2 years within 3 days.
Bring freedom in community, random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome Three of Cups community.
This training is distributed by the people who can't handle accountability. We're bringing you on board because we believe you can change things. We believe you can bring change. The truth is, that's a lie.
Connecting with our family, a safe space to speak authentically. We raise our cups, unifying as three. We bring freedom in community, random thoughts and golden nugget.
Up next on Three of Cups.
They may not even be aware of their own.
What was once one turned into three.
It contradicts what they hired you on for, right?
Family, a safe space to speak authentically. We raise
because you're
cups,
expecting someone to abide by what you are reporting. And the truth is, the very harsh, cold truth of this is, they don't have to do that crazy. I'm laughing because it's such bullshit.
Connecting with our family, a safe space to speak authentically. We raise our cups.
So you got an environment of contradiction the moment you start your training day, the moment you enter the interview.
Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
The actual harsh truth is you've outgrown the environment.
What was once one turned into three, reconnecting. What was once one turned into three, reconnecting with our family, a safe space to speak authentically. We raise our cups, unifying as three. We bring freedom in community, random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome Three of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
They may not even be aware of their own shit. Okay? They're too busy up-fronting an image to make a point that they're doing their job while keeping the employees happy. Because the last thing they want is for a whole-out strike. Right? Right. But yet, it contradicts what they hired you on for, right? And then let's go back to the training videos. You know those sections in there that talk about if you need to report something when you're struggling in an environment, go straight to your manager. Go straight to the person in charge. You know, we take this stuff very seriously. They probably do to a certain extent. And I really mean certain extent. The truth with that is... the truth with that part, yeah, report your shit. Communicate. Make it very clear if you know you need to report some shit. Don't bottle it up and then you blow up one day because you're done with shit. Speak what you want to say, but understand something. When you say something, you're saying it for yourself. You're not saying it because you're expecting them to change because you speak it. You're saying it because you're saying it for yourself. You're making it very clear where you stand in your position with something. But to expect change instead of observing how they receive and react to what you've said will only piss you off. It will only piss you off because you're expecting someone to abide by what you are reporting. And the truth is, the very harsh, cold truth of this is they don't have to do shit. They don't. Unless it puts the company in some sort of legal lawsuit, all they have to do is record the conversation, make a few follow-ups if they choose. But honestly, this comes down to you making peace and acceptance with the fact that the truth is, they don't have to do shit. They're just not going to tell you. And God forbid the retaliation that comes after you report something. Oh God. That crazy shit. Report if there's any retaliation that occurs after report. Retaliation is unacceptable and not acceptable here in this environment. I'm laughing because it's such bullshit. Is bull. It really is. You will experience retaliation from the most emotionally immature people that cannot handle being called out on their shit, and they are actually supposed to be your manager. They're supposed to be a head of a department because they're not emotionally capable to handle being accountable when they're confronted with something they know their ass ain't supposed to be doing. Okay? And guess what other cold, harsh truth that means? If the person is running the department or managing a team, trust and believe that company is going to protect that person because it's harder to find someone to replace that position than it is to replace yours. So they will bide their time and wait, address what's been reported with retaliation. But at the end of the day, the truth is, once again, they will take note they don't have to respond. And if they do respond, it's going to be a very subtle response. It doesn't mean that the retaliation stops. It just means there's more of a covert approach that occurs if the person is that petty. That was a bit of a tangent, but that is a little brief scope of workplace environments with the social reporting aspect of things and the training things with that, right? Let's go into the training part again where they are actually talking about the job and stuff. When they're talking to you about the position itself, training you in the job or whatever, these companies know, they know that when you are working with a trainer, a lot of the time, the training they present and the training on the floor when you're actually working with someone are whole different worlds. But they put you through the training so they're not held liable for the different training they know you're going to receive when you're done with the official state-approved training. They know they can hold you liable when they have you put through all these training videos, when they know you're going to have a different world of training when you are on the floors with someone. But they can hold you liable for what videos they had you watch because you did the exams, you did the quizzes, you signed the paperwork, you did all the videos that were state approved standard. It then turns into if something ever happens, you're going to be accountable regardless, despite the contradictions that are obviously there in the first place. So you got an environment of contradiction the moment you start your training day. Hell, the moment you enter the interview. That kind of corruption is not something that you alone will be able to fix. You will probably want to speak to the mountaintops and say your piece. Express and list off all the facts about exactly why this is fucked up. And you probably are absolutely right about every single fact. But your facts, your laid out views, the way you present them even, and you establish your position on it, doesn't mean that the company is going to change. It means you've reached a point that it's time for you to shift. That's the turtles, if you can hear them. It means you've reached a point that it's time for you to shift environments. To enforce change in a space where you know you are expressing the corruption that you're clearly identifying, that inevitably actually won't change unless the owner wants to change what is happening. Like the actual owner of the company who won't be there when you express yourself. The harsh reality is when you reach a point of identifying the corrupt list of things you're viewing and seeing that you want to change, that you want to see change in. The actual harsh truth is you've outgrown the environment and it's time for you to shift. Hanging on to an environment you're working in where you're still listing off a lot of shit you don't like or that you don't see change in, you inevitably become the people that are the seasoned veterans of complaining for change. And pretty soon, you're going to end up in a space of complacency, of complaining about wanting to see some sort of change regarding what you're listing. Where when the change actually occurs or change finally comes because you decided to stay for however long preaching about the same things, you then may not like how the change comes in because it's going to probably be completely different than what you expected it to be. And then you're ending up in the same space as the people that you encountered when you yourself was trying to bring in the change. Look at yourself when you enter into a space of wanting to list off things you can see are corrupt. Look at yourself and understand you have outgrown the space. Excuses about why you don't want to leave because of how much you've invested or how much time you've invested is actually your responsibility to be accountable for. They don't owe you anything, and you don't owe them anything. You chose to invest that energy. You chose to invest that time. You chose to put that amount of effort into an environment that obviously is showing they don't value shifting and implementing that change and establishing it. So, this is about you needing to be accountable for yourself when you enter these kinds of environments and understand you gotta shift, you gotta go, you gotta move, it's time to go. Or else you're just gonna be another person that's gonna get complacent with complaining. And that gets nobody nowhere in life. Honestly, it does not. If you're complaining about something consistently,
Coming up on 3 of Cups.
when this is their world that they're living in, you're just a guest, you're just working there, you will then be seen as the problem. Even if you have valid points for why you want to see change.
Random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome 3 of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
That is why you can't keep folks in the positions that you hire them on for. If you're not transparent about what these people can expect, you can expect turnover. Every
Bring
time.
freedom in community. Random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome 3 of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
I have to highlight too, people in a higher position. Let's talk management for a minute within these jobs.
What was once 1 turned into 3. Reconnecting.
Are you mentally capable of being able to handle the responsibility of being accountable on both sides, not just from your boss, but also from the people that you manage, because they're people just like you. Yes, you hired them. Yes, you're managing them.
What was once 1 turned into 3. Reconnecting with our family, a safe space to speak authentically.
The level of immaturity and ignorance that enters positions like this are literally what roots and upheaves rebellion of people that are getting managed. It goes back to what I was saying about the employees when they're responding to wanting change. They can't expect change if they themselves aren't even ready to change themselves.
Freedom in community. Random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome 3 of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
Managers and employees really can learn a lot from each other when it comes to this kind of social dynamic. But, you know, it's very easy to create gray areas when it comes to chain of commands.
Space to speak authentically, we raise our cups. Unifying as 3, we bring freedom in community. Random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome 3 of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.